Tell me now, did you grow up here in Cavalier?
Yep.
And did you go to Cavalier High School?
Yep.
What year did you graduate?
64.
So you've lived right here in the cinema for some time.
Yeah, that one apartment.
At that time, when I was graduating from high school, Vietnam was going. It was kind of a patriotic time.
And that's the class of?
1969.
What made teaching in Cavalier so special to you?
I was really proud to be able to say I was part of the Cavalier school system.
When I came in 1974, I came into a staff that was established. They took you in and made you feel like part of our teaching family.
Coming up here, never been in Cavalier till I interviewed. I didn't know a soul when I moved up here.
You're the class of what?
75.
Each class probably gained about maybe 20 to 40 kids.
What year did you graduate Cavalier High School?
1978.
Were you guys in the same class?
Mm-hmm.
Class of?
85.
We as a community are far from the norm. I take pride in that. You should as well.
Some big moments, I would say, for my generation would be the state championships in the early 2000s.
What year did you graduate?
I was 2002.
2004.
Graduated 2005.
2011.
As a student, you lived through the 2013 flood.
As a junior, yep.
We're here in the halls of Cavalier High School, and you're about to leave. You're a senior.
Yep.
Well, if you could go back and relive any moment from your high school days, whether it was in the school or in town or on the ball field, is there any one moment that sticks out? There's something different about this town, and it's really hard to pinpoint it. We've tried to use words to describe it, but there's something about this place that makes it great.
Cavalier is very, I would say, picturesque or Americana. You know, you hear those songs about your one stoplight kind of town and growing up in a small town. I would say that's a picture of Cavalier, a place where everybody knows everybody and sometimes too much about everybody. But it's a community. It takes a village to raise a child, and that's what Cavalier is. That's what Cavalier offers. All of these people that we are regular, everyday people, but really, really amazing place to have a family, raise a family, and everybody takes care of everybody.
So from 1964 and even before that until now, a lot's changed. What have you seen change from your growing up years till now?
Well, virtually everything. I mean, if you are around something every day, you don't notice the changes, but I actually now live in Walhalla. I notice, the main street has changed, the businesses have changed. One of my projects has been to find old photographs and kind of document those changes.
I probably could name you off 10 different businesses that they either lived in the back or upstairs. You don't find them doing that anymore. Was a big, big change.
So you've lived right here in the cinema for some time.
Yeah, that one apartment.
Your parents built this place. Do you know why they chose Cavalier to build a theater?
My dad had theaters out of town. We had 7, well, more than that, but 7 theaters in my lifetime, 4 drive-ins and 3 indoors. And he was up here helping out a friend that had a theater in Fargo. And he was servicing the projectors in the old Roxy Theater, which is where United Bank on the corner sits. It was a former harness shop converted into a movie theater. I don't remember much. It was moved out in '58. And he thought the town would be good enough to build something like that, and it's an amazing investment. The theater was built first. The theater opened in '49. The above part was not here until '54. Getting in on Saturday night to go to the movie was damn big, I know that. It was all black and white then, but we'd take in and we'd hope that it was a Western. And you'd sit in the front seat, you could smell the horses.
You and I have talked a lot about your marquee and how that's become very much a part of what Cavalier is.
It was going to be a really big one, but it was going to be one of those 2-sided ones like you see in the New York theaters where it runs all the way up.
And it was a difference of at the time, a dramatic difference, but $400.
Minimum wage was at that time probably 65 cents an hour. Theater tickets were a dime, nickel, dime, quarter. You had to have their 11 cents. I tried to get in once at 10 and they wouldn't sell you a ticket. You had to have that 1 penny besides.
So with the school reunion, they published this book back in 2005. and it lists all of the classes. And from 1937 on, they had a picture of every graduating class. But the first thing I noticed was it said 1909 to 2005, and they missed the first 2 years of Cavalier High School. The first graduating class was 1907. Prior to 1937, there were no photographs, there was no list of names or anything. So I took it upon myself to research, first, who was in those first classes, and second, how many graduates have there been from the Cavalier High School up to last year's graduation.
How many graduated in 1907?
7. There was Grace Carrick, Ina Curry, Lenore Gibson, Kenneth Staples, Wesley Ruby, Freeman Farrell, and Herbert McColland. The McColland name I recognize. There was the McColland blacksmith shop. McColland's blacksmith shop, the mill and elevator on the main northern end of town, and the Cavalier Chronicle. Those were the 3 oldest businesses in the community.
The farmers all had chickens and sell eggs. There was a Red Owl store, variety store. There was a Red Owl store there, sold groceries. And you'd carry in 12 or 15 dozen eggs. They would take that and they'd take it to the back and they'd candle, they called it, all those eggs. You had to put them up to a light and see it wasn't full of chicken if you're gonna sell them again. They'd empty those eggs out, then they'd take it back up in front where the counter was. My mother would have an envelope tied on there. That was their list of groceries, and the women all did it. Then they'd go shopping and visiting, and the clerks had to take that list, and they put all their groceries into that egg crate. That store was open till 11 o'clock at night. They'd go back, and then they'd pay for the groceries, and you'd go home.
Reading the early papers, I have noted when certain things have taken place, like Cavalier Main Street. Up until 1913, all of the power lines were located on the main street itself. 1913, they moved them into the alley.
It says fireproof on a lot of places on the building. Why was that a big deal?
Well, a lot of people died in hotel fires back then. I remember traveling with Dad to Valley City, and we stayed in the old Rudolph Hotel. It was just wood floors and wood. I mean, it was just a tinderbox is what it was. So fireproof was a big deal because people would just smoke anywhere then.
Right where our stoplight is, Johnny Forbes was in there with the He-Mart. Right on that corner, right in front of their store, there was a water fountain. It stood about this tall. And all the city water, you just give the nozzle and it shoots a stream up. You could always get a good cold drink of water there. And that stayed there for a lot of years.
I have argued that with people and they say, no, there was never a fountain there. I don't remember it working.
And I often wondered what happened to it, but they finally took it down.
So we've been talking to a lot of people about Cavalier, and we've asked everybody what makes Cavalier so special. How would you answer that question?
Well, looking back at the early history and the reason the town got founded in the first place, the Beechville family, they were from Missouri, and they were relocating to Manitoba. And by the time they got to Manitoba, the land that had more or less been promised to them had been requisitioned for the Mennonites. And when they got to Manitoba, they were told by the Manitoba government, well, you guys can go farther west. So they went to about the Saskatchewan border and decided that they didn't like the land, so they turned around and were going back home. Spent a night camped alongside the Tongue River. Thought, hey, this is perfect. We got trees, we got water, there's good land around it, and they decided to stay. And that's how the town of Cavalier got founded in the first place. Some say the town was named for Charles Cavalier, who was the first customs agent and postmaster in this area. And his name was spelled Cavalier.
Kale, you took on the challenge of becoming an Army Ranger before coming back to Cavalier. What is it about this place that builds a man to go on and meet a challenge like that?
Family has a lot to do with it, and teachers, coaches, people that you associate with as you're going up through your younger years. At that time, when I was graduating from high school, Vietnam was going, and it was kind of a patriotic time. And I think that a lot of people felt they needed the need to serve. They gave me an Army scholarship from NDSU. And when I got down there and I started into the ROTC program, I was really impressed with the people. They were smart, they were quick. I thought, man, if I could fit that mold, I wanted to do that. And I felt that's when I said, I'm up for the challenge.
Some people call it stubbornness, some people call it naive, but others call it grit. Like there's this grit that people of Cavalier have.
Absolutely. I think that all stems from community pride. Like if you're not growing, if you're not thriving, you're dying. And so I think that you've got that community pride and people want to see Cavalier continue to do well and be great.
Back in the home ec room, it's like you never left.
It is. I feel very comfortable in this room. It's where I went to high school, where I taught.
Kay, when you think about teaching in Cavalier, what made teaching in Cavalier so special to you?
I was really proud to be able to say I was part of the Cavalier school system. I did quite a bit of traveling. I worked with the vocational department in Bismarck, and so met with teachers from all over the state and even outside the state, and I was always really proud to be from here.
Growing up in Cavalier prepared me to be the best I could be. But it's the attitude and the people in Cavalier, family and all that set pretty high standards.
I had really strong administration. Mel Olson was my superintendent for years, and he expected a lot, had high expectations for teachers, and wanted us to pass that on to kids.
We learned how to work together, and we learned how to support each other, and that's what life is about a lot of times. I got through airborne school and ranger school, and I was assigned to Panama to start out with. So I was going through, we used to call it clicking your tickets. I had done all the commands except for a company commander, and I was doing that. And I was scheduled to go back to Fort Benning for more schooling, and then a master's degree, and then unaccompanied somewhere in the world. But my dad died in a car accident east of Hamilton, and that changed everything. My siblings were still one in grade school and one in high school, and sister just started college, and my mother needed us back here.
Was that a difficult decision to make?
It was not a difficult decision. I had a hard time getting out. I was a regular Army officer, which I was supposed to stay there for a long time, but I couldn't. We all adjust during lives, right? Every day we need to adjust.
Has a lot changed in the school from when you were a student to even now?
I guess when I was growing up, girls didn't have the options that the females have now as far as career paths. And when I was in high school, I started taking home ec classes, and I just felt like that's the focus for me. And I always wanted to be a teacher, so that's what I did, and I'm glad I did.
Sandy Peterson, she and I did lots of projects together for equity, get young women to recognize their potential. And people are still people. People are the same, but technology, certainly.
One change I've noticed when I've come to sub at school, the kids all have Chromebooks, so they can keep up with everything. You know, they carry that from class to class. They can take care of their homework assignments. If they're absent from school one day, it's all on the computers.
I think the tools that the young farmers have now, and with technology, it's just going to go on and get better and better.
I had attended Maryville State University and never had a computer class. There wasn't such a thing. I had a major in English and a major in business and a minor in French. So I started teaching in those disciplines. Then in the late 70s, initiating the ITV. And he asked if I wanted to teach French over ITV, or if I'd like to get started with a vocational department in the business department. And I chose that. And so we ended up getting our first computer at Cavalier School through that department.
We learned, like, this is how you turn the computer on. That's the basics it started at. There were none of those. Nobody had heard of online classes. That wasn't a thing.
When I went to college, nobody wanted their kids to come back. They wanted to get a college education and get a job somewhere else. What has changed that, in some ways anyway, a lot of farms are building legacies. And that opportunity to prepare for another generation that is enthused about doing this, or the next, we got the 6th generation at home. I think that's something that is very important. and very exciting. And the other side of that thing is things don't go well. That's a real burden on those people that are trying to get through this thing, and all of a sudden it doesn't work. We be aware of that. We really do.
Another common theme that we get from these conversations is that there's this trait that comes from Cavalier in particular. And a lot of humans have been produced, one of which is your son, Devin. What do you think it was about his upbringing here at Cavalier School, at the city of Cavalier, that made him who he was?
Well, I want to use his words, I think.
Rabbit.
About 25% of guys who start SEAL training actually make it to the end of the almost year-long journey before they receive their trident. That's the pin that signifies you're a Navy SEAL. That's not even counting the vast number of guys who show up to boot camp, either fail the screen test or quit before they're there. If we add those guys into the mix, it'd probably be more like 15 to 17% success rate.
25% graduation in my class.
They've spent millions of dollars trying to figure out the formula, what it takes for a guy to make it through SEAL training, and they've yet to figure it out. For Cavalier to say that we're 2 for 2 with Tony Clark, class of '98, year, and myself, it's pretty amazing to say the least.
It's the most challenging mentally and physically thing you'll ever do in your life. They used to tell a ranger, you know, if you got through this thing, you could chew nails and spit tacks, so we were ready to spit tacks. So we were assigned a mission, a parachute jump. We had some things we had to do after that. So we got on that CH-47 helicopter at 3 in the morning, and in about 2 hours or so we got to the drop zone, and everything was going as planned except that parachute didn't open right for me. So I just cut my stuff loose from the equipment I was carrying. I landed on the grass, I didn't get hurt, and we went on to accomplish our mission. But we were taught that no matter what happens, focus on the mission. Focus on that long-range mission. And that's the same for all of us. We've all had parachutes other than that one that didn't open. And if you can focus on those long-term goals, you'll be fine.
There's one paragraph where he says, "There's a process of thought that I let my mind take when we're en route to hit a target. There's usually some sort of long transit involved to get us there."
I'll start by thinking about the operation, reviewing specifics about it in my mind, going over it. I'll then think about my beautiful wife Margie and our children and the rest of my awesome family. I then let my mind wander. I wander back to a simpler time when the only war we knew was that which was played with a deck of cards. Memories right here on this field, memories at that school, the streets and back roads that we used to drive around on. But most importantly, the people who all had a hand in raising all of us as a community. In my travels, I've seen the absolute worst in people. I've seen the absolute worst places, and believe me when I tell you that we've got a little slice of heaven here, I mean it.
This town has harbored us from the vast majority of evils this world has to offer, and allowed us to grow into who we've become, and not a day passes I'm not thankful for that.
What I thought was a normal work ethic growing up turned out to be not so normal. I've worked with people from all around the world for the last 8 years, and I've yet to run across a group that can hold a candle to what we bring to the table as far as the desire to get the job done.
We don't look for handouts.
We earn our keep. We don't help somebody out, just think about what's in it for ourselves. We do it because we want to. We as a community are far from the norm. I take pride in that, and we should as well.
And then the missiles came.
In the 70s, when the influx of people came, it was not an Air Force base. We were not basers. It was a safeguard system, and it was a defense site set up for the country, but it wasn't military.
Right across from Jensen's, that was the elementary wing. There were only 2 sections of each class, and then when we had the influx of people that moved here, then our classrooms got quite full.
I mean, there was over 200 new students just bam, overnight.
And I would think each class probably gained about maybe 20 to 40 kids.
I have a younger sister, and she actually rode the bus to Hensel every day to go to school at the Hensel School, which had closed, but they reopened it because they needed the classroom space.
They brought in some additional temporary classrooms where there's permanent classrooms now.
So you had the unique experience of living in other places and then living in a small town.
My experiences had been very different, you know, because everybody's coming from larger, all around the world areas, and then to come here, it was as much shock to us, I'm sure, as it was for them.
Probably the biggest physical change was what is called the Bjornson edition. I think there was 24 eightplexes, maybe 26 eightplexes that were built there.
That was some land that was owned by my parents, and when they were looking for a place to locate this influx that was coming, there was kind of a competition between towns, and it seemed that that would be the best site. The developer decided that's what they'd name it.
So there wasn't a street there prior to that?
No, it was farmland.
So it went from farmland to 32 apartment buildings.
And 3 houses.
And that's where the majority of the folks stayed when they first came. And then pretty much every house within 25 miles of Cavalier was available to be rented, was rented. Little towns like Osnabrück and Hensel and Baku, all the homes that were in those areas got filled up quickly.
We got to learn about other areas of the country from the other students who were coming in with their families. It was good.
You know, I kind of feel bad for the people here because not only did they have the turmoil of the influx of people, but it was such a unruly time in our country. You know, there was the Vietnam War, there was Watergate, there was all this drama going on the national stage. And then in your own little private, cozy little town, all of a sudden, bam, you have a anti-ballistic missile site and all of these new people moving in. But to the city itself, there were so many changes because there were impact funds that came and they got a new swimming pool and they overlaid all the streets. Levers, the skating rink, the curling club, the Legion Club. But I mean, that was a huge change for the city itself aside from the school.
And then there's several new businesses like eateries and different things that came along with it, which is, you know, really nice.
When I came in 1974 as fresh out of college, I came into a staff that was established. They helped you out. They're behind your program. They took you in and made you feel like part of our teaching family.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Coming up here, never been in Cavalier till I interviewed, and I thought, oh my gosh, I must have missed the sign that said Alaska. I didn't know a soul when I moved up here, and I was going to stay 2 years, and that turned into a few more and a few more, but it did become a teaching family. You were here when they got married, when they had their kids, when their kids graduated, when their kids got married, and it was good for us.
Our staff has a true passion to their students and they want the best for them, but most importantly to be the best people, person, human that they can be when they leave this building. And it starts with our teachers, and I'm just grateful to work with them.
So when I chose to go into teaching, I did so with the full intention of coming back to Cavalier. It's truly a privilege to be involved in the lives of kids and get to see how much they grow, not only just the year that you have them, but all the years after. My first class will be seniors next year, and it's been fun to see what they have already done, and I'm excited to see what they'll do in the future. But I think just the part about being in Cavalier, it makes it even more meaningful knowing that the people that you are teaching are the kids or the grandkids of people you've known your whole life or who have contributed to your life in some way, and it just kind of brings it all full circle.
My first years we were Class A, so I had large classes, and I had almost 30 8th graders.
So when we were in the late 60s, Cavalier's superintendent wanted to be Class A. So the 2 smallest Class A schools in North Dakota were Fort Yates and Cavalier. And our particular superintendent, his name is Mr. Sunderland, he thought it was very prestigious to stay Class A.
There were always activities. There were so many clubs, science clubs and language clubs, and you could be as busy as you wanted to be. I remember Doug Anderson was a teacher here, and I always wanted to take one of his classes because his students always produced such wonderful things.
One thing with Cavalier, which I'm so thankful for, that I think the community is really behind the school and its programs. And they allowed, well, not only me, but other people in their subject matters to grow. Stood behind them and to create a program that not only is the school proud of, but you feel good that you're getting these things accomplished.
I loved art, and I was in a lot of art classes, and Doug Anderson, his art program was unbelievable. Probably a little bit relating to sports with just expectations. I mean, Doug had expectations. It was like, here's what we're doing, and he kept it to it. And yeah, no, I don't know anybody that didn't appreciate, getting to take that class.
My smiles always come from the high school art show every year. When you teach, the years kind of goes fast, and it kind of goes slow, but at the end of the year at the art show, students can see their achievement. And when the judge comes and puts ribbons on the work, it was amazing how these students, when they got a ribbon, they're just like, beaming from ear to ear. And of course, Art Student of the Year ends up in the gallery here, and they just take so much pride in that.
There's a lot of community pride here. Everybody works really hard to make Cavalier great, and we're constantly looking for ways to improve Cavalier and keep rolling with the times and not let things get too stagnant.
John and Nancy, it's your fault that the Cavalier motorcycle ride-in is here.
It is.
Where did that idea come from?
Well, in 1997, Johnny got this new Springer Harley Davidson, and back then the stores were open on Thursday nights for shopping. It was kind of a big deal. People came to town. So I worked for the iconic, wonderful Hillman's Jewelry. I was pretty excited about getting into the biker world here. At the time we sold Black Hills Gold Harley Davidson jewelry. So I just said to Gladys and Greemer, would you mind if I did a little motorcycle promotion one night? So we did a little advertising, and we had, I think, 66 bikes
so, yeah, it was over 60.
show up that night, and we were like, what?
So we have been fortunate to be a part of the team that brought Off the Charts Music Festival to life back in 2012. Seeing that event grow from its humble beginnings on a tractor stage in a wedding tent to this massive festival that takes up multiple days and welcomes thousands of people to our lovely community. The Off the Charts Music Festival came as a kind of a wild idea, lots of conversations, and it ultimately was like, why not here in Cavalier? We had no idea what it took to put on a music festival, but we did it.
So we did it. It grew a little bit. We went to a Saturday, grew a little bit. Did we envision it? No. Did it become too big for us? Thousands? Yes. On a Sunday morning, trying to clean up the streets, I sat on a bench and cried. I said, we can't do this anymore. It's big. There it went to the retail. Cavalier Retail took it on, and then even became bigger than that, and so then the committee was formed.
We've interacted with a lot of these national touring groups that tour the country and come here, and they're so used to, we need this hotel, we need to be this far from this, blah, 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 blah. And then they come here, we're like, hey, welcome. They're like, where's the hotel? 80 miles away, but you can come stay at my house. They don't often come to a small town. They're often in larger communities, so it's been really neat to show them Cavalier.
It is the closest feeling to Sturgis that we have ever been. We've been to Daytona, Milwaukee. We've done a lot of bike things. Nothing compares to Cavalier to get the true feeling of what Sturgis is.
They opened the town up and it's full of motorcycles and people from North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Canada. My nephew was in Kuwait in the service, and in the weight room, a gentleman was wearing a Cavalier motorcycle ride in Kuwait. So it goes all over the place.
All right, welcome back. It is time for the play of the week, and it comes to us from Cavalier Public School in Cavalier, North Dakota. And Bob, you have all the expertise in play-by-play, so why don't you do it?
All right, we'll give it a shot. North Dakota, hotbed of high school hoops. Cavalier Public versus Larimore. Brady Friendbeth gets the ball off the block shot. He'll take it up court, then pass to his older brother, Blake, for the rim-rattling dunk. Cavalier, inspired by this, goes on to win by 17.
Good play.
There you have it.
Some big moments, I would say for my generation, would be the state championships in the early 2000s. There was 3-4 years there that they were winning all the time, and it was a really exciting time for Cavalier.
Cavalier's first football game took place in October of 1908, and they played Grafton.
I think the only team that I can remember making the Class A tournament was 1967 or 66.
When I came the fall of '79, it was the first year they were Class B back then. So there were like 200 kids in high school or more, probably. I used to coach. And in 1989, we made it to the very first state girls volleyball tournament.
How did our team fare?
We got third. We lost in the semifinal on a controversial call. You know, back then they kept score different, if you remember. It wasn't rally scoring, so you had to serve to score a point. It was a close game in the semifinals. We served long volley, but I didn't remember. The kids said, did we serve or not? You know, do we rotate or not? So I said to the ref, was that a point? And the ref said, yes, it was. Then that meant we had served, because that's the only way you could score. So we rotated, served again. The ref was wrong. it wasn't the point. So we lost the serve, lost the point.
We've been asking folks who they think the best athlete to ever come out of these halls is.
Billy Watson. They went to state when I was like really little, that was the pinnacle of everything. Bill Watson.
Thanks, brother.
You want him to say you?
Who, in your opinion, is the greatest athlete to ever come from Cavalier High School?
Brady Trenbeth. Watching them on the basketball court, football field, idolizing all those guys.
Lucky to be a part of some really good teams. We had a lot of success. Was a part of 5 state championship teams, which obviously is not the norm.
The last thing we did was when we won state baseball, and we had taken almost every place at state in baseball. We had a good run, and obviously that was super fun, but we never won it. And then my senior year, we finally won one, so that was really fun and fortunate to get a championship.
And so we just had we had a good group and had a lot of success on all the sports we played.
When you walk in the gym, whether it's volleyball, basketball, you are part of something bigger. You're a tornado, you're on the team, there's one goal, one purpose, one team. It doesn't matter if your family's from here, if you're a transplant. And the goal is not always just winning, but learning to work together. And I think that speaks to the community as well.
The culture here at that time was, you had really high expectations. You know, we held each other accountable, you held yourself accountable to a very high standard. And, you know, I think everybody bought into realizing that, you know, each year we had a chance to win a state championship.
Watching them on the basketball court, football field, you know, we never obviously won as many state championships as they did, but that sort of pushed us as little kids to obviously take in their footsteps.
So you say you went to state in basketball?
Basketball, yep, junior year.
Was that your only state?
For basketball, yes, we got 3rd that year. We also won state in track, the 4x1, our senior year.
Being able to experience going to 2 of the state championship games. Never won any though, so that was, I didn't lose 4 though, I only lost 2.
Lost 4? Who lost 4?
2023, they lost 4 in a row. They don't like hearing that too often.
What's one thing you hope never changes?
Cavalier Tornadoes in orange and black.
But you went from sports, and well, we went to the history of, because we know the people behind it all. And their names might not be on the side of the gymnasium or emblazoned on every bleacher seat, but they still help support the whole
Dude, that's the wild thing. It's not the people that are often recognized. It's the people that just put their nose down and just get shit done. They just do stuff. People here just do stuff. And everybody has that same mentality, and everybody wants to work towards a better outcome.
Like there's the 2 sides of the same coin, right? Determined people tend to be stubborn people. And how do you make it through winter? How do you make it through one poor farming season to the next good one? Determination, right?
Grit.
Grit, yeah.
That's the word.
Grit.
This city has stayed darn good. They kept this up, and there's a lot of little towns that are faded away. The way the world goes, they're getting smaller, and we got doctors, we got dentists, we got damn near everything. Cavalier is a pretty darn nice little town.